Right, so we're back. This is episode number 3. I'm Bryson Finney, and I'm here with. Oh, Chris, you don't say your name. I was going to say your
Nope,
name.
I'm not going to say my name because I was waiting for recording to start.
Okay, I'll do it again.
It hadn't come up yet.
Okay. Hey, we're back. This is episode number 3. I'm Bryson Finney, and I'm here with Chris Nelms. And in this episode, we're going to talk about enhancing the visual appeal. So we're going to talk about the different options and editing features that you have in your video presentations or your videos. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So we're going to start right from the Canva platform so I can show you how to pull in recent designs. So what I've done is I duplicated a design that I already had. So it's sitting under recents, is ready for us. In the first 2 videos, we pulled a brand new design and we walked you through how to do that. But this time we're going to pull a recent design. So let's open this one up. All right, and so while this is opening up, so just some things to think about. When you're in your presentation, of course, you have text or creating your video, you have text that you're using. You may have imagery or images and photos that you're using, and then you have elements that may be animated. And when we click on all these 3 different options or 3 different elements in our videos, we're going to have different editing features. So to show you what I mean, Chris alluded to this in the very first episode, but when I click on this image right here, I see my toolbar changes up here. So I have different editing features. So let's click on something else that's different. Let's click on text. You see how this toolbar has changed. Let's click on something that's completely different, like some animation. Let's click on this. And our toolbar has changed again. And then I threw something at the end of this. I threw a stock video that we learned about in episode 2. And my editing features have changed here again. Okay, so this is going to be like a conversation, pretty casual, but let's look and see what editing features are provided for us. We're going to talk, let's go ahead and click on text first. And we're going to look at animations. And so animations, we're going to see options to animate basically everything in Canva. So everything can move in some way. So our text can move. We'll look at our photos in a minute and we'll see this same option. And of course, under elements, there's animations there too, and they're already animated. So right here, there's already an animation that's added to this text. Let's click and see what other options are here. Very similar to PowerPoint or maybe some other platform that you've used. When you hover over the different animated options, you're going to see the text or show you what that's going to look like. And so blur, baseline, and Chris, feel free to chime in if you notice anything as well.
No, I'm a big fan of these text animations. There's lots of different options for you as far as what they look like and how they move. Some of these you probably recognize from PowerPoint or Keynote if you use them, but some of them are just better. And they also, I don't know, Bryson, you've seen it. I'll randomly click on them, and there'll be new ones they've added, so that they're always expanding and adding more font styles or text styles.
You're right.
So some of my favorite ones, Bryson, if you scroll down, I'm big on the writing, like having the typewriter or the 1 letter, 1 word. So if he clicks on typewriter or even merge in any one of them, notice what you also get the option of. Both on enter, on exit, but you can also choose character or word. So I like those features as well.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah. And when I'm hovering over, when I click on any of these different animated options, and I'll come back down, I want to talk about what Chris just mentioned with both on enter and exit, and then also the writing style at the bottom. But it looks like the whole slide is animated. Well, it's showing me whatever features we've already added to this slide in addition to the animation we're adding to the text. So don't let the slide, that's the transition that we're seeing, distract you, but watch the text. So right now we have typewriter that's selected.
And Bryson, scroll down to the bottom real fast. All the way at the very bottom, you can clear all the animations. So then you can start from scratch. So if you choose a default like template and the animations are driving you crazy, so like Bryson's getting like, okay, which
Yeah,
one
what
is going on right now? He can clear
happened?
every animation and then start from scratch if you wanted to. So that's
So I
an
can do that.
option for you as well.
And so I kind of jumped ahead of myself with this, but once we clicked on animations and we're looking at these animations and I hit clear animations or whatever I'm doing in here, remember it's whatever you've selected. And so I've cleared animations, but you see things still happening on this slide, not with the text. The text is cleared. Okay, so let's go back. Let's find typewriter. There it is. And so we may have options like this, like Chris mentioned, when you click on these different options, animations. So here, right now, we're going to see this typewriter animation on both when it enters and also when it exits. We can change the speed, how fast we want it to type. We can change if we want it to be by character or by the whole word. Okay. And like with anything new or anything that you're experimenting with, I would get in here and play around and see what you like. That's literally what I do when I'm selecting an animation. So, okay, cool. So that's with text. Let's go ahead and look at another element or something else or feature that we can add to our video. Let's look at an image. And so right here, this is the number one. We pull this image out of elements. So the way the options we're going to see with this image would be the same if I was to pull in a picture that I uploaded. Okay. So we do have the option to flip this image. So you're going to see some of the same features you may see in other platforms. Here's position. So Chris talked about in episode 1 where this is going to sit on the slide. You do have transparency, so I love this feature. So if I don't want to see it completely bolded out like it is right now, I just want an echo of it. You can play with the transparency, but the power is under edit image. And so I want to say in episode 2, we showed you the background remover, but this is a pretty powerful tool I utilize a lot. We're going to come down. Let's look at the different filters that we have. So similar to being on social media, you do have different filters you can choose from.
Hey,
Yeah.
Bryson, would you mind going into photos or and
Uh-huh.
grab a different image
I
that you can
can, yeah.
manipulate more?
Yeah. So,
Remember, he's added the app, so he just has to scroll down and find photos.
yep, I'm going to my lesson from episode 2, what I learned. Let's just pull one of these. I think I've had enough of puppy dogs. So
I
let's
know
go
you're a
down.
cat bell, so
Let's pull this one right here. That's enough going on in this image. Okay. So let's click on the image. We have our options, edit image. All right. Good call. I like that. Okay. So let's go to filters so we can see more. So again, just like with anything else where you have filters, you can change most of the things. You can change the intensity of the option that you choose. But I would get in here and play around and see what you like. Okay. Color pop is pretty cool. All right. And then you can always come back to none. So if we want to clear all the filters that we added, we can go back to none and we're back to the image that we had originally. Let's see what else is here. We do have effects. So these effects will look a little different from effects that we may see on text. But these are the effects that we have for images. Okay, so we have blur. So let's look at this one.
and blur becomes a very powerful tool when you're talking about you might have one image of one face that you don't want to be in the picture, so you want to blur it out and tastefully or whatever, so you can do some of that, and I use that a lot.
And so you saw what I did. I kind of clicked where I wanted to blur, and then it's given me now, Chris, is this changing the intensity of the blur? Or here's the intensity. So
It's
this is
changing the
changing the
size,
size.
so how big
That's
it
right.
is.
Okay.
So,
So
and Bryson, if you want to go back one level, there's actually a one that I like a lot better. For instead of
uh-huh.
blur, choose autofocus. And
I'm
this
gonna get
image,
rid of
when
that
you have
blur.
faces, and it makes it a little bit easier. Like you can actually sort of choose where the blur ends up being.
Oh,
So,
nice. Okay.
it will choose for you, and then you just sort of manipulate back and forth. So I like autofocus a lot better. This image is a little bit harder, but as you can see, like the chairs in the background are further away. But if he plays with it again, the chairs now in the back you can see better. So
Wow,
that,
Chris,
like,
I have not used this one. I didn't know. Okay, that's great.
so I prefer using autofocus just because it makes some of the choices for you.
I
Since
like
I'm not a
that.
professional photographer. Um, Bryce is gonna see that the purple is where it's fun because you see the purple, it's telling you which part's in focus and which part isn't.
So you can easily go down a rabbit hole, guys, with this. Um, okay, cool. That's awesome. All right. So again, I'm just giving you a taste or a little teaser of the different options that you have. Like we said before, I would get around and play with these options that you have. Let's look at adjust. So like we would see again on other platforms with playing with the contrast, the brightness, highlight, shadows, you have those same elements here in Canva as well for your images. Okay. I want to talk about transitions, but before I get there, we talked about filters. We looked at where we can adjust brightness, contrast, highlights. We looked at different effects. I think it's time to look at transitions. Okay. So if I was in a slideshow, a platform like PowerPoint, which you're probably familiar with, we have the option to add transitions in our
Is there paper
presentation.
airplane and the ball crumble?
Oh, yes, all that, all those fancy ones. And I'll say this, one thing that was cool for me with learning the Canva platform, the fact that I can merge these slideshow elements with my video is really cool. So when you hover over in between your slides, you have this, it'll say add transition, but you see this icon. I'm gonna click on that icon. And so I see the different transition options that I can add. I'm gonna hover over here again. Okay, it's add page. All right. And so let's click dissolve. So I'm adding this transition between this Canva video editing tips and then our fancy image that we added earlier. And let's see what that looks like.
And we remembered on this video to hit the
Yeah.
add sound button when we shared.
Oh, I did.
So
Yes, I didn't forget. I did not forget. So guys, I'm just playing around. Honestly, these are the same types of transitions you may see in other platforms as well. But like before, I would get in here and play around. There's some cool ones in here. You can play with the duration. One thing that I thought was pretty cool with Canva is you can play with the direction depending on which transition that you choose. So with flow, right now it's showing what direction the next slide would come in on. I can change that. Or let's say I really like flow. I want to use flow for the entire video, but I just want to give it some variance. I'm going to switch it up. So I can use flow, but maybe just change the direction in between the pages. Okay, so I'm going to show you one more time. So there's add transition. This I'm going to click stack, and I'm going to leave the transition tab up. I'm going to click on another slide and see if that stays, and it does. Now I can just click the transition.
no,
Right,
Bryce, I want to point out down at the bottom, there's
Uh-huh.
that button that says apply between all pages. So if you really like a
Yes.
transition, you can just apply it to every slide throughout the entire thing. My suggestion, if you're new to video making, don't do a different type of transition between each slide. Find one,
It
maybe
can be
two, but
wild.
don't go back and forth because guys, there's one thing that, and we've learned this the hard way. We've made videos before and they've been just terrible because we had too much craziness going on at all times. We had flow this way and mix and match that way, and it actually messed with how you watch the video and you missed the actual importance of the video.
Yeah, you're too caught up in the transition. I'm guilty. So, um, I just clicked match and move. This one looks pretty cool. So, and it tells me what it is. So match and move animates identical elements smoothly between pages. So, I'm going to start from the beginning. Let's just see what this does. And this will be the last thing we do. Let's see one more. Sweet. All right. And guys, I think that's it. We're going to stop there. I hope you've enjoyed this episode number 3. I hope we've given you some tips and tricks that you can use to enhance the visual appeal of your videos. Until next time,
See
be
you
sure to
guys.
like and subscribe for more.
Yeah.